Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight we'll be wandering into the quiet, verdant world of forests, a place filled with life, with breath, and endless wonders. Around us stand the familiar sights, the towering trees, the carpet of leaves, and the dappled sunlight filtering through branches we've all seen before. But there is so much more than meets the eye. Some of the trees around us have stood for centuries, their rings telling stories we're only beginning to understand. A simple patch of moss may contain an entire ecosystem, no larger than your hand. And the rustling of leaves above may be part of a conversation we cannot hear. The forest is both ordinary and magical, something we encounter every day, yet never ceases to amaze. If you enjoy these quiet explorations, I invite you to like and subscribe or share a simple thought down in the comments. It helps others find their way here, too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is rest, settle in, and allow the calm of the forest to carry you. Let's begin. The ancient guardians. Every forest begins with a single seed finding its place in the soil. When you stand within a woodland, surrounded by giants, it's humbling to remember that each tree, no matter how massive, started as something small enough to fit in your palm. A tiny seed, perhaps carried by wind or dropped by a bird, landed in just the right spot where sunlight and moisture met. From that fragile beginning, roots pushed downward, seeking water and stability. A tender shoot emerged, vulnerable to frost, hungry animals, and the shade of its neighbors. Yet somehow it persisted. Year after year, it grew taller, its trunk thickening, its branches reaching ever upward toward the light. Foresters call this journey from seed to sapling to mature tree the life cycle of the forest. Each stage brings new challenges and new relationships with the world around it. What began as a single vulnerable seed becomes, over decades or centuries, a pillar of the ecosystem, a provider of shade, a home for countless creatures, and a silent witness to the passage of time. To walk among these trees is to walk among survivors, each one a testament to patience and resilience. Some trees alive today were saplings when ancient civilizations first rose. The oldest trees in the world have stood through the rise and fall of empires. Bristlecone pines in the mountains of California have been dated to more than 4,000 years old. They were already ancient when the pyramids were being built in Egypt. When you place your hand against one of their gnarled trunks, you are touching something that has endured through millennia of human history. Storms, droughts, fires, and ice ages have tested them, yet they remain. These elders grow slowly, sometimes adding only a fraction of a millimeter to their width each year. Their wood is dense and resinous, resistant to rot and insects. In their rings, scientists can read the story of climate over thousands of years, seeing droughts recorded as narrow bands and wet years marked by wider growth. These trees are living libraries, archives of the Earth's past written in wood. To know that such ancient beings still exist, quietly photosynthesizing and growing, is to feel the weight of deep time pressing gently against the present. The largest living thing on Earth is a forest of one tree. In Utah, a forest of quaking aspen known as pando appears to be thousands of individual trees, but beneath the soil, they share a single root system. Pando is not a forest of trees, but one enormous organism, a single genetic individual that has cloned itself thousands of times. It weighs an estimated 6 million kilograms and covers more than 100 acres. Its roots may be tens of thousands of years old, making it one of the oldest living organisms on the planet. Each autumn, its leaves turn golden in unison, a shimmering sea of yellow that ripples in the wind. Walk through Pando is to walk within a single being, vast and interconnected. It reminds us that forests are not just collections of individuals, but living networks, communities where boundaries blur and life flows between what we perceive as separate. The forest thinks not in terms of one tree, but in terms of the whole. Trees can communicate with each other through underground networks. Beneath your feet, hidden in the soil, lies a vast communications network. Tree roots intertwine with fungal threads called mycorrhizae, forming what scientists call the wood wide web. Through these connections, trees can share nutrients, water, and even chemical signals. A mother tree, large and well-established, may funnel sugars to her younger offspring, struggling in the shade. When one tree is attacked by insects, it can send warning signals through the network, prompting its neighbors to produce defensive chemicals before the threat arrives. This discovery has transformed how we understand forests. They are not simply collections of individuals competing for resources, but cooperative communities where the strong support the weak and information flows, like whispers, through the soil. Fungi act as intermediaries, connecting tree to tree, in exchange for sugars the trees produce through photosynthesis. The forest floor is alive with conversation we cannot hear, a constant exchange of nutrients and messages that sustains the entire woodland. To walk in a forest is to walk above a hidden world of cooperation. Fungal networks can span entire forests, linking thousands of trees. The mycorrhizal networks beneath forests are not small or isolated. A single fungal individual can stretch for kilometers, connecting hundreds or even thousands of trees across a woodland. These networks are so extensive that some scientists describe them as a kind of forest intelligence, a distributed system of communication and resource sharing that benefits the entire ecosystem. The fungi receive carbon from the trees in the form of sugars, while the trees gain access to nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus that the fungi extract from the soil. But the relationship goes deeper than simple exchange. Through these networks, nutrients can flow from where they are abundant to where they are needed most. A tree dying from disease may send its remaining resources to its neighbors through the fungal web, ensuring that its legacy continues even after its death. Seedlings, vulnerable and small, receive support from the network, their survival rates increasing dramatically when connected to these underground highways. The forest operates as a superorganism, its members linked in ways we are only beginning to understand. Some trees can live for thousands of years, but their seeds remain viable even longer. Time moves differently for trees. While most live for decades or centuries, some species have evolved the ability to produce seeds that can wait. Lotus seeds, discovered in a dry lakebed in China, were successfully germinated after lying dormant for more than 1,000 years. These seeds had waited patiently, encased in protective coatings, for the right conditions to return. When they finally met moisture and warmth, they sprouted as if no time had passed at all. This ability to pause, to wait through unfavorable conditions, is one of nature's most remarkable strategies. Seeds buried in the soil can form what ecologists call a seed bank, a reservoir of potential life waiting for disturbance to create an opening. After a fire, flood, or windstorm clears the canopy, these dormant seeds awaken, racing to claim the newly available light and space. The forest is not just the trees you see standing, but also the invisible potential sleeping in the ground beneath them, ready to become the next generation when the moment arrives. Forest soil takes centuries to form, but can be destroyed in moments. The rich, dark earth beneath a forest seems solid and permanent, yet it is one of the most precious and fragile materials on Earth. Forest soil forms slowly through the accumulation of fallen leaves, dead wood, and the decay of countless organisms. Fungi and bacteria break down organic matter, While earthworms and insects churn and aerate the layers, minerals weather from rocks, adding nutrients to the mix. Over hundreds or even thousands of years, this process creates the deep, fertile soils that support towering trees and diverse life. Yet this soil, built so slowly, can be lost remarkably quickly. When trees are removed and roots no longer hold the earth in place, rain and wind can wash away centuries of accumulated richness in a single season. Without the constant input of falling leaves and the protection of the canopy, the soil degrades, losing its structure and fertility. Forest soil is not simply dirt, but a living matrix, home to more organisms in a single handful than there are people on Earth. To protect forests is to protect these unseen communities and the foundations they provide. A single handful of forest soil contains billions of organisms. If you scoop up a handful of forest floor, you are holding an entire universe in your palm. Within that small space, scientists estimate live billions of bacteria, millions of fungi, thousands of protozoa, and countless nematodes, mites, and other tiny creatures. These organisms form a complex food web, each playing a role in breaking down organic matter, cycling nutrients, and maintaining soil health. Some feed on dead plant material, others on bacteria, and still others are predators hunting even smaller prey. This microscopic community is essential to the forest's survival. Without these decomposers, dead leaves and fallen trees would accumulate endlessly, locking away nutrients that living plants need to grow. Instead, these tiny workers break down complexity into simplicity, releasing nitrogen, phosphorus, and other elements back into forms that roots can absorb. The visible majesty of the forest depends entirely on this invisible workforce, laboring in the dark soil. Every tree is supported not just by its roots, but by billions of unseen partners. Decomposition returns nutrients from the dead to the living. Death in the forest is not an ending, but a transformation. When a tree falls, it does not simply disappear. It becomes habitat, food, and eventually soil. Fungi colonize the dead wood, their mycelium spreading through the bark and cambium. Beetles bore tunnels, creating homes for their larvae and pathways for further decay. Woodpeckers hammer away the softening exterior, searching for insects. As years pass, the log slowly collapses, its structure breaking down into fragments and then into rich humus. This process, called decomposition, is essential to forest health. The nutrients locked in the tree's wood, nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, and others, are gradually released back into the soil, where living trees can use them again. A forest, a closed system, endlessly recycling its materials. What was once a towering giant becomes sustenance for seedlings growing in the enriched soil where it fell. Nurse logs, fallen trees covered in moss and sprouting saplings, are common sights in old forests, visible proof of this cycle of death and renewal. Fallen logs become nurseries for new generations of trees. In many forests, particularly in moist, temperate regions, seedlings struggle to establish themselves on the dense, dark forest floor. But fallen logs offer something different. Raised above the ground, they escape some of the competition. Their decaying wood holds moisture like a sponge, providing reliable water even in dry periods. As the log breaks down, it releases nutrients directly where young roots can access them. Moss often colonizes these logs first, creating a soft, moist bed perfect for seeds to germinate. Walk through an old-growth forest, and you will often see rows of trees, their trunks aligned as if planted, deliberately. These rows mark the location of ancient nurse logs, long since decomposed, that once hosted a generation of seedlings. The young trees, rooted in the log, survived, and grew, eventually standing in a line where their nurse once lay. It is one of the forest's most poetic patterns, the old literally giving rise to the new, their bodies becoming cradles for the next generation. Death and life are not opposites in the forest, but partners in an endless dance. Old-growth forests hold more life than younger, planted woods. Not all forests are equal in their richness. Old-growth forests, those that have developed over centuries without major disturbance, contain complexities that younger forests lack. Their structure is layered, with towering canopy trees, a middle story of younger or shade-tolerant species, and a diverse understory of shrubs and herbs. Dead standing trees, called snags, provide crucial habitat for woodpeckers and cavity-nesting birds. Fallen logs, in various stages of decay, lie scattered across the floor, each a microhabitat supporting countless species. This structural diversity translates into biological diversity. Old-growth forests support far more species of birds, mammals, insects, fungi, and plants than uniform, even-aged plantations. The presence of ancient trees, some hundreds of years old, creates niches that younger forests simply cannot provide. Certain lichens, mosses, and fungi are found only in these elder woods, dependent on the specific conditions created by centuries of undisturbed growth. To walk in an old-growth forest is to walk in a cathedral of biodiversity, a place where time has woven intricate connections that cannot be quickly replicated. Some forests have never been cut by human hands. In a world increasingly shaped by human activity, there remain forests that have never known the axe or chainsaw. These primary forests, untouched by logging, exist in remote corners of every forested continent. In the Amazon, vast stretches remain accessible only by river or air, too distant and difficult for extensive exploitation. In Siberia, immense boreal forests spread across landscapes so cold and remote that they have escaped large-scale harvest. In mountainous regions worldwide, steep terrain and thin soils have protected certain woodlands simply by making them uneconomical to log. These primary forests are precious beyond measure. They contain species assemblages and ecological relationships that have developed over millennia. Their soils, undisturbed by machinery, retain full depth and complexity. Their genetic diversity, preserved through countless generations, may hold adaptations we do not yet understand. Scientists visit these forests as reference points, studying how natural systems function when left to their own devices. To stand in a forest that has never been logged is to glimpse the earth as it was before, human dominance, wild and self-sustaining. Forest edges are among the most biodiverse habitats on Earth. Where forest meets field, meadow, or water, a special zone emerges. Ecologists call these transition areas ecotones, and they are remarkably rich in life. The forest edge receives more sunlight than the interior, allowing sun-loving plants to thrive alongside shade-tolerant species. This increased plant diversity supports more insects, which in turn attract more birds, small mammals, and other predators. Deer and elk often feed in meadows, but retreat to forest cover when threatened, making edges prime habitat for these species. This edge effect explains why fragmented forests often support different communities than intact ones. When a large forest is broken into smaller patches, the proportion of edge habitat increases dramatically. Some species benefit from this, thriving in the diverse, productive edge zones. Others, particularly those adapted to deep forest conditions, decline as the interior shrinks. Understanding edge effects is crucial for conservation, as it reveals how the shape and size of protected areas influence which species they can sustain. The forest is not uniform, but a mosaic of conditions, each supporting different forms of life. Canopy trees shape the entire forest beneath them. The tallest trees in a forest, those that reach the canopy layer and spread their crowns in full sunlight, are more than just the biggest individuals. They are architects of the world beneath them. Their leaves capture sunlight and cast shade, determining which plants can survive on the forest floor. During storms, their crowns intercept rain, with some water evaporating before ever reaching the ground. The drip and flow of water from canopy to earth shapes erosion patterns and moisture distribution. In autumn, their leaves fall in vast quantities, blanketing the ground with organic matter that feeds the entire decomposer community. When a canopy tree dies or falls, the impact ripples through the ecosystem. Suddenly, a shaft of light reaches the forest floor, triggering a race among suppressed saplings and dormant seeds. The gap, created by one tree's fall, becomes a patch of accelerated growth and change, a disturbance that increases overall forest diversity. Canopy trees are keystone structures, their presence or absence determining the character of everything below. To understand a forest, one must first look up to where these giants reign. The forest canopy is its own distinct ecosystem. Far above the forest floor, in the sunlit realm of the canopy, an entire world exists that most people never see. This upper layer is home to specialized plants, epiphytes like orchids and bromeliads that grow on branches without ever touching the ground. Insects thrive in the canopy in astonishing diversity, from leaf-eating caterpillars to pollinating bees. Birds nest among the branches, and in tropical forests, monkeys, sloths, and even frogs spend their entire lives dozens of meters above the earth. Scientists studying the canopy describe it as the last biological frontier, a region as difficult to explore as the deep sea. Researchers use climbing ropes, construction cranes, and even hot air balloons to access these heights, discovering new species at an astonishing rate. The canopy intercepts rain, creating a humid microclimate. Its leaves photosynthesize at maximum rates, producing the sugars that feed the entire tree and the organisms depending on it. Though we see forests from the ground, much of their life and productivity happens in the bright, airy realm above, a layer as distinct as the floor itself. Sunlight filters through leaves in patterns that shape the understory. The light that reaches the forest floor is not the bright, direct sunlight of open spaces, but something transformed. As it passes through the canopy, leaves absorb the red and blue wavelengths most useful for photosynthesis, allowing green light to pass through. This creates the characteristic emerald glow of forest. Interiors. The pattern of light is constantly shifting as leaves flutter in the breeze, creating dapples of brightness that dance across the ground. These sunflecks, brief moments of direct light, are crucial for understory plants, providing bursts of energy that fuel their slow growth. Different plants have adapted to different light conditions. Some, called shade-tolerant species, can survive with minimal light, photosynthesizing slowly but steadily. Others, sun-demanding species, require full light and can only establish in gaps where canopy trees have fallen. This variation in light availability creates a patchwork of conditions across the forest floor, each supporting different communities. The forest is not a uniform blanket of shade, but a mosaic of bright and dark, constantly shifting as trees grow, branches fall, and storms create openings. Life in the forest is life lived in patterns of light and shadow. Forest layers create a vertical architecture of life. A mature forest is not a single story, but a multi-layered structure, each level supporting different forms of life. The canopy layer, reaching highest, contains the crowns of dominant trees bathed in full sun. Below it, the subcanopy holds smaller trees and the shaded lower branches of canopy species. The understory consists of shrubs and young trees adapted to low light. The herb layer carpets the ground with ferns, wildflowers, and grasses. Finally, the forest floor itself, covered in leaf litter and fallen wood, hosts fungi, insects, and soil organisms. This stratification multiplies the forest's capacity to support life. Birds specializing in different layers rarely compete directly. Warblers glean insects from canopy foliage, while thrushes scratch through leaf litter on the ground. Squirrels nest in tree cavities, while mice burrow in the soil. Each layer has its own microclimate, with temperature, humidity, and wind varying from ground to canopy. This vertical complexity is one reason forests support such extraordinary biodiversity. They are not flat ecosystems, but three-dimensional structures, creating many different niches within a single place. Leaf litter is more than just dead leaves. The carpet of fallen leaves covering the forest floor seems simple, just debris waiting to decay. But leaf litter is an ecosystem unto itself. It provides insulation, protecting soil organisms and plant roots from temperature extremes. It retains moisture, preventing rapid evaporation and maintaining humid conditions. As it decomposes, it releases nutrients gradually, feeding the trees that produced it. Countless creatures live within it: springtails, mites, millipedes, beetles, and spiders, forming a complex food web based on detritus. In some forests, the leaf litter layer can be many centimeters deep, representing years of accumulation. Walking through it, you hear the crunch and rustle of hundreds of thousands of leaves. This sound, so characteristic of autumn woods, is the sound of history layered beneath your feet. Each leaf once lived high in the canopy, photosynthesizing and feeding the tree. Now, fallen and browning, it feeds the forest one last time. The cycle is complete only when these leaves have fully returned to soil, their substance transformed but not lost. The breath of the forests produce much of the oxygen we breathe. Every breath you take contains oxygen released by green plants during photosynthesis. While ocean phytoplankton produce significant oxygen, forests are equally vital, particularly the vast boreal and tropical forests that cover immense areas. During daylight hours, the tree's leaves absorb carbon dioxide from the air, and using sunlight's energy, split water molecules to create sugars. As a byproduct, oxygen is released. A single large tree can produce enough oxygen to supply 2 people for a year. Multiply that by the billions of trees in Earth's forests, and the scale becomes clear. This process is why forests are often called the lungs of the planet. They breathe in what we exhale and breathe out what we need to survive. The relationship is intimate and ancient, woven into the chemistry of life itself. To walk in a forest is to walk through air freshly enriched with oxygen, each breath a gift from the leaves above. The forest's breath becomes our breath, an exchange that binds us to these green communities in the most fundamental way possible. Trees absorb carbon dioxide and store it for decades or centuries. Beyond producing oxygen, trees play a crucial role in regulating Earth's climate. Through photosynthesis, they absorb carbon dioxide, one of the primary greenhouse gases, and incorporate the carbon into their wood, roots, and leaves. A single tree can sequester hundreds of kilograms of carbon over its lifetime. Forests collectively store an estimated 300 billion tons of carbon, more than the entire atmosphere contains. This stored carbon, locked in wood that persists for decades or centuries, helps moderate the planet's temperature. When forests are cut and burned, this stored carbon returns to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide, contributing to climate change. Conversely, protecting and expanding forests can help mitigate warming by removing carbon from the air and storing it in living wood. Old-growth forests, with their massive ancient trees, are particularly important carbon reservoirs. Every forest, from tropical rainforest to northern boreal woodland, is actively participating in the global carbon cycle, breathing in greenhouse gases and transforming them into the solid substance of trunks and branches. Photosynthesis is powered by sunlight captured by chlorophyll. The green color of leaves is no accident but the signature of chlorophyll, the molecule that makes photosynthesis possible. Chlorophyll absorbs red and blue light from the sun, using that energy to drive the chemical reactions that convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. The green wavelengths, unused by the plant, are reflected back to our eyes, giving leaves their characteristic color. This simple pigment is one of the most important molecules on Earth, the foundation of nearly all life. In autumn, as deciduous trees prepare for winter, they break down their chlorophyll and withdraw its valuable nutrients into their woody tissues. With the green pigment gone, other colors previously masked are revealed. Yellows from carotenoids, oranges from xanthophylls, reds from anthocyanins. The forest transforms into a tapestry of color, not from new pigments, but from the removal of chlorophyll's green veil. This annual display is a reminder of photosynthesis's power and the complex chemistry occurring in every leaf, turning light into life. Some trees can photosynthesize through their bark, while leaves are the primary organs of photosynthesis. Some trees have evolved the ability to photosynthesize through their bark. This is particularly common in species adapted to harsh conditions where maximizing carbon capture is crucial for survival. Young aspen trees, for example, have greenish bark containing chlorophyll. Even after losing their leaves in autumn, these trees can continue producing small amounts of sugars through their trunks. This adaptation provides an advantage in cold climates with short growing seasons, allowing the tree to eke out extra energy when conditions permit. Bark photosynthesis is typically less efficient than leaf photosynthesis, but in marginal environments, every bit helps. It demonstrates nature's creativity, finding multiple solutions to the same challenge. Trees are not simply passive organisms, but active innovators, constantly working to capture energy and survive. The green tinge in aspen bark or the smooth, bright bark of beech trees hints at this hidden capacity, a quiet reminder that photosynthesis occurs wherever conditions allow. Forests regulate local climate and rainfall. Forests do not simply respond to climate, but actively shape it. Through transpiration, trees release water vapor from their leaves, humidifying the air. This moisture can form clouds, and under the right conditions, fall again as rain. In large forests, particularly tropical ones, this process creates what scientists call a rain pump, with moisture cycling between forest and atmosphere. The Amazon rainforest, for example, generates much of its own rainfall through this mechanism. Deforestation can disrupt these cycles, reducing rainfall and altering climate patterns far beyond the cleared area itself. Trees also moderate temperature. Their shade cools the ground beneath them, while evapotranspiration cools the air. A walk through a forest on a hot day reveals this effect immediately. The temperature can be several degrees cooler than nearby open areas. At night, the canopy acts as a blanket, trapping heat and preventing frost from forming on the forest floor. These temperature moderations benefit not just the trees, but all forest life, creating stable conditions that support diverse communities. The forest is both shaped by climate and a shaper of climate, an active participant in atmospheric processes. Trees can live for decades or centuries without growing much. In harsh environments, where nutrients are scarce, temperatures extreme, or growing seasons short, trees may add almost imperceptibly to their girth each year. Some alpine or Arctic trees grow so slowly that a trunk as thick as your wrist may be 100 years old. These trees survive by being patient, by waiting through unfavorable years and making the most of rare good ones. Their wood is dense and tight-grained, each narrow ring representing a year of perseverance. This patience is a profound lesson. In a world that often values speed and productivity, these slow-growing trees remind us that endurance has its own worth. They survive where faster-growing species cannot, outlasting competitors through sheer stubbornness. Some bristlecone pines add less than a millimeter of wood in a year, yet they have stood for millennia. Their secret is not growth but persistence, not expansion but survival. They teach us that sometimes simply continuing, year after year, is the greatest achievement. The symphony of life forests are among the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth. If you want to find life in its most concentrated form, visit a forest. Particularly in the tropics, forests support an astonishing array of species. A single tree in the Amazon can host more ant species than exist in all of the British Isles. A temperate forest may contain hundreds of bird species, thousands of insect species, and uncounted varieties of fungi and bacteria. This biodiversity arises from forests' structural complexity, their stability over time, and the countless niches they provide. Biodiversity is not just a number, but a web of relationships. Each species interacts with many others as food, competitor, symbiont, or habitat. Remove one species, and the effects ripple outward, sometimes with surprising consequences. Forests demonstrate that life does not exist in isolation, but in communities where every member, from the smallest bacterium to the largest tree, plays a role. To walk through a biodiverse forest is to walk through a living tapestry, every thread connected to every other in patterns of almost infinite complexity. Some forest species are found nowhere else on Earth. Forests can be isolated by oceans, mountains, or climate, and over time, these isolated populations evolve into distinct species. Many forests harbor endemic species, organisms found nowhere else on the planet. Madagascar's forests, isolated from mainland Africa for millions of years, host unique lemurs, chameleons, and plants found only on that island. Cloud forests in South American mountains contain hummingbirds and orchids specific to particular valleys. Even temperate forests have their endemics, species that evolved in specific regions and never spread beyond them. The existence of these endemic species makes each forest irreplaceable. When a habitat containing endemics is destroyed, those species vanish from Earth entirely, their unique evolutionary paths cut short. Conservation efforts often prioritize forests with high endemism, recognizing that these places hold forms of life that exist nowhere else. Each endemic species represents millions of years of evolution, a unique experiment in what life can become. To protect forests is to protect these singular threads in the tapestry of life. Birds depend on forests for nesting and food. Walk through a forest at dawn, and you will hear a chorus that speaks to forest's importance for birds. Trees provide nesting sites, from cavities in old trunks to platforms of woven twigs high in the canopy. Forests offer food in abundance, insects crawling on bark and leaves, seeds and fruits ripening through the seasons, nectar from flowers. Many bird species are obligate forest dwellers, unable to survive in other habitats. Woodpeckers need dead trees for foraging and nesting. Warblers glean insects from leaves in specific forest layers. Owls hunt rodents on the forest floor. Migratory birds depend on forests at both ends of their journeys. Neotropical migrants that breed in North American temperate forests spend winters in tropical forests, thousands of kilometers away. The loss of forest in either location threatens these species. Bird populations serve as indicators of forest health. Declining numbers often signal broader ecosystem problems. Their songs and calls are not just pleasant sounds, but evidence of a functioning woodland community. To hear birds singing in a forest is to hear the forest itself declaring its vitality. Mammals from mice to bears make forests their home. Forests provide everything mammals need: food, water, shelter, and space. Small mammals like mice, voles, and shrews scurry through the leaf litter, feeding on seeds, insects, and fungi. Squirrels harvest nuts and cache them for winter, inadvertently planting trees when they forget their stores. Rabbits and hares browse on young shoots and bark. Larger herbivores like deer and elk feed on understory vegetation and tree bark, their populations shaping forest structure through their browsing. Predators like foxes, coyotes, and bobcats hunt these herbivores, maintaining balance. At the top of many forest food webs stand bears, omnivores that feed on everything from berries to salmon to carrion. In healthy forests, these large mammals play crucial roles, dispersing seeds, creating disturbances, and recycling nutrients. Their presence indicates a forest large and wild enough to support complex food webs. Many mammal species require large territories and continuous forests to thrive. Fragmentation isolates populations and reduces genetic diversity. The mammals of the forest, from smallest shrew to largest bear, are part of the ancient community that makes woodlands complete. Insects are the hidden majority in every forest. For every bird you see or mammal you hear, there are thousands of insects you never notice. Insects constitute the majority of animal species in forests, filling roles from pollinator to decomposer to predator. Beetles bore through bark and dead wood, accelerating decay. Butterflies and moths, as caterpillars, feed on leaves, transferring energy from plant to animal. Bees and wasps pollinate flowers, enabling reproduction. Ants cultivate fungi, build complex nests, and defend territories. Mosquitoes and flies, though annoying to humans, provide food for countless birds and bats. Without insects, forests would collapse. Decomposition would slow to a crawl. Pollination would fail. Birds would starve. The invisibility of insects belies their importance. Most are tiny, nocturnal, or hidden in bark crevices and soil, but they are there, in mind-boggling numbers and diversity, performing essential tasks. A single tree may host hundreds of insect species, each adapted to feed on specific parts or stages. To understand forests is to understand insects, the tiny engines that keep the whole system running. Amphibians thrive in the moist conditions forests provide. Salamanders, frogs, and toads find forests ideal habitat. Their permeable skin requires moisture, which forests provide through shaded, humid understories and the presence of streams and vernal pools. Salamanders, secretive and often nocturnal, live in leaf litter and under logs, feeding on insects and other invertebrates. Some species spend their entire lives in forests, never entering water except to breed. Frogs and toads, more dependent on standing water, use forest ponds and wetlands for breeding, then disperse into the woodland to hunt. Amphibians are sensitive indicators of environmental health. Their permeable skin makes them vulnerable to pollution, and their complex life cycles, requiring both aquatic and terrestrial habitats, mean they need healthy, connected ecosystems. Declining amphibian populations worldwide signal environmental stress. In forests where amphibians thrive, with their evening choruses and secretive day lives, we see evidence of clean water, intact habitat, and functioning ecosystems. Their presence is a blessing, a sign that the forest remains healthy enough to support these delicate creatures. Reptiles bask in forest clearings and hunt in the shadows. Though less diverse in forests than in open habitats, reptiles still find niches in woodlands. Snakes hunt along the forest floor, some feeding on small mammals and birds, others specializing in amphibians or insects. Lizards bask on sun-warmed logs and rocks in clearings, darting back into cover when threatened. Turtles, where water is available, lumber through undergrowth between feeding areas. Some snakes climb trees, hunting birds' nests or resting on branches. Reptiles, cold-blooded physiology means they need sun to warm themselves, so they are most abundant in forest edges and gaps where sunlight reaches the ground. But they are integral forest members nonetheless, controlling prey populations and serving as food for larger predators. In tropical forests, reptile diversity increases dramatically, with countless species of lizards, snakes, and other groups filling every available niche. Even in temperate woods, the rustle of a snake through leaves or the sight of a turtle crossing a forest path reminds us that forests support life in forms we sometimes overlook. Fungi form relationships with most forest plants. The mushrooms you see are merely the fruiting bodies of vast fungal networks hidden in soil and wood. Fungi are not plants, but their own kingdom, and they are essential to forest function. Many fungi form mycorrhizal relationships with tree roots, as discussed earlier, trading nutrients for sugars. Others decompose dead wood and leaf litter, breaking down complex compounds and releasing nutrients. Some are parasites, attacking living trees and causing disease. Still others form partnerships with algae, creating lichens that carpet bark and rocks. Fungal diversity in forests is staggering. A single forest may contain thousands of fungal species, most never producing visible fruiting bodies or producing them only occasionally. Fungi are the hidden weavers of the forest, connecting, decomposing, and enabling. Without them, forests would drown in their own debris, nutrients locked away in dead material. The mushrooms that appear after autumn rains are just the tip of the iceberg, brief glimpses of the vast underground network constantly at work. To study fungi is to uncover a secret dimension of forest life. Lichens are partnerships between fungi and algae that thrive in forests. Look closely at tree bark, rocks, or even fallen branches, and you will often find patches of color: pale green, bright orange, silvery gray. These are lichens, composite organisms formed by fungi and algae living in symbiosis. The fungus provides structure and protection, while the algae photosynthesize, producing food for both partners. Together, they can survive in conditions neither could tolerate alone, from Arctic tundra to desert rocks to humid forest bark. In forests, lichens serve multiple roles. They provide food for insects and other invertebrates. Some birds use them as nesting material. Deer and elk browse on them, especially in winter when other food is scarce. Lichens also act as air quality indicators. Many species are sensitive to pollution and disappear when air becomes contaminated. A forest rich in lichens is a forest with clean air. Their slow growth means that some lichen colonies may be hundreds of years old, ancient partnerships quietly persisting on the same branch, decade after decade. To see lichens adorning bark is to see cooperation made visible, life built on mutualism. Mosses carpet the forest floor and tree trunks in emerald layers. Where moisture lingers, mosses flourish. These small, simple plants lack true roots, absorbing water and nutrients directly through their leaves. In humid forests, they form thick carpets on the ground, covering fallen logs and draping tree trunks in soft green blankets. Walking on moss is like walking on nature's carpet, springy and yielding underfoot. Mosses trap moisture, creating humid microhabitats beneath themselves where tiny invertebrates thrive. They also trap seeds, providing germination beds for larger plants. Mosses reproduce through spores, sending up tiny stalks capped with spore capsules. When mature, these capsules release millions of microscopic spores to be carried by wind. Landing in suitable locations, spores germinate and grow into new moss plants. This ancient reproductive strategy predates flowering plants by hundreds of millions of years. Mosses are among Earth's oldest land plants, and their presence in forests connects us to the deep past when these simple plants were pioneers, first colonizing bare rock and creating the conditions for more complex life to follow. Ferns unfurl their fronds in the shaded understory. In the dappled light of the forest floor, ferns spread their elegant fronds. Like mosses, ferns are ancient, reproducing through spores rather than seeds. They thrive in the humid, shaded conditions forests provide, their delicate leaves perfectly adapted to capture limited light. Some fern species grow directly on the ground, while others are epiphytic, growing on tree trunks and branches without parasitizing their hosts. In tropical forests, tree ferns can grow to impressive heights, their thick trunks and spreading crowns giving them the appearance of palms. Ferns were once far more dominant than they are today. During the Carboniferous period, over 300 million years ago, giant ferns and their relatives formed vast swamp forests that eventually became coal deposits. Today's ferns, remnants of that ancient lineage, still beautiful but no longer dominant. Watching a fern frond unfurl in spring, its coiled fiddlehead slowly opening, is to witness a process unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. Ferns connect forest present to forest past, living fossils reminding us of life's long history. Wildflowers bloom in fleeting displays before the canopy closes. In temperate, deciduous forests, a remarkable phenomenon occurs each spring. Before the trees fully leaf out, the forest floor receives abundant sunlight. In this brief window, wildflowers rush to bloom, carpeting the ground in color. Trillium, bloodroot, spring beauty, and violets burst forth, photosynthesizing, blooming, and setting seed before the canopy closes and shade returns. These spring ephemerals, as they are called, have adapted their entire life cycle to this narrow window of opportunity. Their beauty is fleeting but intense. For a few weeks, the brown forest floor transforms into a garden. Pollinators, emerging from winter dormancy, visit the flowers, transferring pollen in exchange for nectar. By early summer, most spring ephemerals have finished their above-ground work, dying back and storing energy in underground bulbs and rhizomes to wait through the long, shaded summer. Walking through a forest during this spring bloom is like discovering a hidden treasure, a secret garden that exists only for those who visit at just the right time. The voices of the forest. Forests are filled with sounds we often overlook. Stand quietly in a forest and listen. Beyond the obvious bird calls and rustling leaves, you will hear a symphony of subtle sounds. The creak of branches swaying in wind, the patter of falling acorns or pine cones, the rustle of a small mammal through leaf litter, the buzz of insects, the distant drumming of a woodpecker, the trickle of a hidden stream. Each sound tells a story, evidence of life and process occurring all around you. The forest is never truly silent, but alive with quiet conversations. Different forests have different soundscapes. Tropical rainforests roar with insect calls, bird songs, and howler monkeys. Temperate forests offer more subtle sounds, with seasonal variation as insects emerge in summer and fall silent in winter. Boreal forests can seem eerily quiet, their stillness broken occasionally by a raven's call or the wind through spruce needles. Learning to listen to a forest, to distinguish sounds and understand what they mean, is to develop a deeper relationship with the place. Sound connects us to the invisible life surrounding us. Wind through trees creates its own music. One of the forest's most beautiful sounds is wind moving through the canopy. Different trees respond differently, creating varied tones. Pine needles produce a soft whisper, a sibilant sound like distant water. Aspen leaves, hung on flattened stems, flutter and create a distinctive trembling rustle, the sound that gives them their name. Quaking aspen, oak and maple leaves, larger and broader, produce a deeper rushing sound. In strong winds, branches creak and groan, and occasionally crack, punctuating the continuous susurrus of moving leaves. This music has no composer, but is an emergent property of air and leaf, branch and trunk. It varies with wind speed and direction, with the season's foliage density, with the weather's moisture content. No two moments in a forest sound exactly alike. People have listened to this music for as long as humans have existed, finding in it solace, inspiration, and connection to something larger than themselves. Wind in trees is the forest's voice, speaking without words but with meaning nonetheless. Bird songs mark territory and attract mates. Each spring, forests fill with song, as birds return from migration or emerge from winter quietude. Males sing to establish territories, advertising their presence to rivals and their fitness to potential mates. Each species has its own song, learned from parents or innate, allowing birds to recognize their own kind. Some songs are simple, repeated phrases. Others are complex compositions lasting minutes, varied and elaborate. Together, they create the dawn chorus, that extraordinary burst of song in the hour after sunrise, when birds are most vocal. Learning to identify birds by song opens a new dimension of forest experience. You will hear many more birds than you will ever see, particularly in dense summer foliage. A distant thrush's flute-like melody, a warbler's buzzy trill, a woodpecker's drumming on a resonant snag, all become recognizable signatures. Birdsong is communication we can eavesdrop on, getting glimpses into the lives and concerns of forest residents. The forest speaks in many tongues, and birdsong is among the most beautiful and accessible. Frogs chorus in forest wetlands and pools. In spring, as snow melts and pools fill, another voice joins the forest soundscape. Male frogs call to attract females, their voices ranging from deep croaks to high peeps depending on species. In the right conditions, hundreds or thousands of frogs may call simultaneously, creating a deafening chorus that fills the night. These breeding aggregations occur in vernal pools, temporary wetlands that fill in spring and dry by summer. Because they are temporary, they lack fish that would eat frog eggs, making them ideal nurseries. The frog chorus is one of nature's most powerful sounds, a primal symphony announcing life's return and abundance. Each male inflates his vocal sac and calls again and again through the night, hoping to be chosen. The calls vary in pitch and rhythm, creating a layered, pulsing sound that seems almost electronic. Listening to a spring frog chorus You are hearing one of Earth's oldest sounds, a ritual repeated for hundreds of millions of years, long before humans or even mammals existed. It connects the present forest to ancient swamps and the dawn of terrestrial life. Insects create a background hum in summer forests. In the heat of summer, particularly in temperate and tropical forests, the air fills with insect sounds. Cicadas buzz in trees, their calls so loud they can drown out conversation. Katydids rasp in the understory. Crickets chirp from the leaf litter. Mosquitoes whine past your ears. Bees hum as they visit flowers. Together, these sounds create a background drone, the sonic signature of insect abundance. Some insects call to attract mates, others to warn competitors, others for reasons we don't fully understand. These sounds, though sometimes dismissed as noise, are evidence of a healthy ecosystem. Insects are the foundation of forest food webs, and their abundance supports everything from birds to bears. When forests fall silent of insect sounds, it often indicates environmental problems, pesticide use, or habitat degradation. The summer insect chorus, though sometimes overwhelming, is actually music to an ecologist's ears. It speaks of abundance, diversity, and the uncounted millions of small lives that make forests function. Trees themselves make sounds, though we rarely notice. Trees are not silent. They creak as they sway, their trunks and branches flexing under wind's force. In cold weather, water freezing inside the trunk can create sharp cracking sounds. During drought, the hydraulic failure of water columns in xylem tissue produces popping sounds, ultrasonic clicks that researchers can detect with sensitive instruments. These cavitation events, as they are called, indicate the tree is under stress, its water transport system breaking down. Some insects feeding on wood create faint chewing sounds, audible if you press your ear against the bark. Recently, scientists have discovered that trees may produce even subtler sounds through their roots and mycorrhizal networks, though this research is still in early stages. The idea that trees might communicate acoustically, clicking or buzzing through the soil, is fascinating and still speculative. But even the obvious sounds, the creaks and groans of wood under stress, remind us that trees are dynamic organisms constantly responding to their environment. The forest's sounds are not just animals, but the trees themselves. Speaking in their own language, silence in a forest can be profound and healing. Not all forest sounds are loud. Sometimes, the most powerful acoustic experience in a forest is silence, or near silence. In deep winter, when insects are dormant and many birds have migrated, when snow muffles all sound, a forest can become extraordinarily quiet. The absence of human noise, no traffic, no machinery, no voices, allows you to hear your own heartbeat, your own breathing. This silence is not empty, but full, pregnant with possibility and peace. Many people report that forest silence has a healing quality. It allows the mind to slow, to stop its constant chatter, to simply be. In this quietness, subtle sounds emerge. The flutter of a dove, chickadee's wings, the distant snap of a twig, your own footsteps crunching through leaves. The forest teaches us that silence is not the absence of sound, but a different kind of presence, one we rarely encounter in modern life. To experience true quiet in a forest is a gift, a reminder of what the world sounds like when we stop filling it with our own noise. The cycle of seasons. Temperate forests transform dramatically through the seasons. In regions with distinct seasons, forests are shapeshifters, transforming their appearance and character throughout the year. Spring brings leafing out, wild flowers, and returning birds, a burst of growth and color. Summer offers full canopy, deep shade, and abundant life, the forest at its most productive. Autumn brings perhaps the most dramatic change, as deciduous trees withdraw chlorophyll and their leaves blaze with color before falling. Winter strips deciduous forests to their bones, revealing structure hidden beneath summer's green curtain. This seasonal cycle drives forest ecology. Many species time their reproduction to seasonal resources. Birds nest when insects are abundant. Squirrels give birth when spring brings fresh vegetation. Trees produce seeds that fall in autumn to overwinter and germinate in spring. Migrating animals move through forests on schedules timed to seasonal abundance. The forest is not a static backdrop, but a dynamic stage where the same place looks and functions differently depending on when you visit. Each season offers its own beauty and its own lessons. Trees shed leaves to survive winter. The autumn leaf fall in deciduous forests is one of nature's most spectacular events, but it serves a practical purpose. Leaves are expensive to maintain, requiring water even when they cannot photosynthesize due to cold or darkness. In winter, water is often locked in frozen soil, unavailable to roots. Rather than risk death from dehydration, deciduous trees shed their leaves, entering dormancy. The layer of cells where leaf stem meets twig, called the abscission layer, seals off the connection. The leaf, no longer receiving nutrients, dies and falls. This strategy allows trees to survive freezing winters that would damage or kill leaves. Evergreen conifers take a different approach, keeping their needles but protecting them with waxy coatings and antifreeze compounds. Each strategy has advantages. Deciduous trees can grow faster in summer with their large, efficient leaves, while evergreens can photosynthesize year-round whenever conditions permit. Watching leaves fall is watching survival strategy in action, the tree sacrificing parts of itself to ensure the whole endures through harsh months ahead. Autumn colors are caused by pigments revealed as chlorophyll breaks down. The brilliant reds, oranges, and yellows of autumn foliage exist in leaves throughout summer, masked by chlorophyll's dominant green. As days shorten and temperatures drop, trees begin shutting down for winter. They break down chlorophyll to recover its valuable nitrogen, transporting it to roots and trunk for storage. With the green pigment gone, other colors become visible. Carotenoids produce yellows and oranges. Anthocyanins, produced in autumn as a response to bright light and cold, create reds and purples. Different species show characteristic colors. Maples often turn brilliant red, aspens golden yellow, oaks russet brown. The intensity of color depends on weather conditions. Sunny days and cool nights produce the most vibrant displays as sugars accumulate in leaves, stimulating anthocyanin production. The autumn color display is therefore not just leaf death, but a complex physiological process. It is the tree reclaiming resources, protecting sensitive tissues, and preparing for dormancy. That this practical process produces such beauty is one of nature's gifts to us, functionality made magnificent. Some trees flower before they produce leaves. In early spring, before leaves emerge, some trees flower. This strategy, called precocious flowering, ensures that flowers are visible to pollinators and that developing seeds receive maximum sunlight. Red maples, elms, and poplars all flower before leafing out, covering their bare branches in blooms. The timing is risky. Late frosts can damage flowers and destroy the year's seed crop. But the advantage is, increased visibility and light availability often outweigh the risks. These early flowers are crucial for insects emerging from winter dormancy. Bees, flies, and other pollinators depend on early blooming plants when food is scarce. For the trees, pollination success means genetic diversity and seed production. The timing of flowering is controlled by temperature and day length, with trees essentially gambling on when winter has truly passed. In a changing climate, this timing can become mismatched with pollinator emergence, creating challenges for both trees and insects. The delicate synchrony of flowering and pollination reminds us how interconnected forest life truly is. Spring brings a burst of growth and reproduction. Spring is the forest's awakening. As temperatures warm and days lengthen, dormancy breaks and life explodes. Sap rises in trees, buds swell and burst, and leaves unfurl. Forest floor herbs rush to bloom before the canopy closes. Birds arrive from southern wintering grounds, establish territories, and begin nesting. Mammals emerge from hibernation or winter lethargy, hungry and ready to reproduce. Insects hatch from eggs or pupae, fill the air, and begin feeding. The forest transforms from a quiet, dormant place to one of frenetic activity and abundance. This spring pulse of growth and reproduction is fueled by winter's accumulated resources and spring's increasing sunlight. Plants draw on stored sugars to produce new leaves. Animals feed on fresh vegetation, or the insects attracted to it. Everything is synchronized, each species timing its activity to match resource availability. Spring in a forest is both beautiful and intense, a race to grow, reproduce, and prepare for the next winter before the brief summer fades. To walk in a spring forest is to feel life's urgency and abundance pressing in from all sides. Summer is the season of growth and abundance. By midsummer, the forest has reached its full expression. The canopy is complete, leaves photosynthesizing at maximum rates. The understory is lush with ferns and shade-tolerant plants. Fruits and seeds begin developing on trees and shrubs. Young birds fledge from nests and begin learning to survive independently. Mammals raise their young, teaching them to find food and avoid danger. Insects are at their most abundant, every niche filled with buzzing, crawling, or flying life. Summer is when forests do their most intensive work. They capture sunlight and convert it to living tissue, growing wood that will last decades and leaves that will feed countless herbivores. They produce the seeds that will become next year's or next century's trees. They support the most diverse communities of animals, from canopy to forest floor. Summer is the forest's prime, its moment of greatest productivity and complexity. Though it lacks spring's freshness or autumn's color, summer forest has its own magnificence. The magnificence of mature, fully functioning ecosystems at their peak. Autumn prepares the forest for winter's dormancy. As summer fades, forests begin their preparation for winter. Deciduous trees withdraw nutrients from leaves and shut down photosynthesis. Nuts and fruits ripen and fall, feeding animals that will cache them for winter or that need to fatten before lean months. Migratory birds begin their journeys south, leaving only year-round residents behind. Mammals that hibernate feed intensively, building fat reserves. Insects die off, leaving eggs or pupae to overwinter. Annual plants set seed and die, their life cycle complete. Autumn is a season of preparation and transition. The forest knows what is coming and responds accordingly, each species following ancient patterns refined over millions of years. For human visitors, autumn offers a poignant beauty, the brilliance of foliage and the gentle melancholy of year's end. But for the forest itself, autumn is practical, a time to prepare, to shut down non-essential functions, and to ensure survival through the coming cold. The beauty we see is a byproduct of survival strategies, nature's economy made visible in gold and red. Winter is a time of dormancy and survival. Winter transforms the forest. Deciduous trees stand bare, their structure revealed. Snow, where it falls, blankets the ground and weighs down branches. Many animals have migrated or are hibernating. The forest seems empty, quiet, sleeping. But this appearance is deceptive. Life continues, just more slowly and quietly. Evergreen trees still photosynthesize on warm, sunny days. Chickadees and newthatches, resident year-round, search bark crevices for insects. Deer browse on twigs and bark. Under the snow, small mammals tunnel through leaf litter, insulated from cold. Winter is a test, separating survivors from the rest. Trees that have stored sufficient energy endure. Animals that have cached enough food or built enough fat make it through. Those that failed these preparations often do not survive. Winter is the forest's pruning season, removing the weak and unlucky, ensuring that spring's abundance goes to those best adapted. Though harsh, winter is essential, part of the cycle that maintains forest health. To visit a winter forest is to see it stripped to essentials, a study in form and endurance, beautiful in its starkness. The stories within every tree tells a story in its rings. Soar through a fallen tree trunk and you will see concentric rings, each representing 1 year of growth. In a good year, with ample rain and sun, the ring is wide. In drought years, the ring is narrow. Fire scars appear as charred wood layers. Insect outbreaks or disease show as multiple narrow rings when the tree struggled. By reading these rings, scientists reconstruct past climates, dating droughts and wet periods going back centuries or even millennia. This science, called dendrochronology, turns trees into history books. The oldest living trees contain records spanning thousands of years. Bristlecone pines, with their precisely datable rings, have helped calibrate radiocarbon dating methods and revealed climate patterns extending back to the end of the last ice age. Dead wood, preserved in bogs or dry caves, can extend records even further. Every tree ring is a chapter in the story of its environment, recording what conditions were like in that specific year. To read tree rings is to read the biography of the tree and the history of its world, written in the very substance of its wood. Fallen trees create tip-up mounds that shape the forest floor. When a large tree falls, particularly in windstorms, its roots often pull up a mass of soil and rock, creating a depression where the roots were and a mound where they now lie exposed. These tip-up mounds, as ecologists call them, create topographic diversity on the forest floor. The mound offers drier, well-drained conditions, while the pit collects water and organic matter. Different plants colonize each microhabitat, increasing overall diversity. Over time, the roots decay and the mound subsides, but the influence on forest structure can last decades or centuries. In forests with long histories, the floor becomes a lumpy landscape of old tip-up mounds in various stages of decay, interspersed with the pits they left behind. Walking through such terrain, your feet constantly rise and fall over these small hills and hollows. Each represents a tree's death and a moment when forest structure changed. The forest floor is thus a palimpsest, a layered document where countless events, written in topography and vegetation, record the forest's history. Every mound tells a story of wind and fall, death and regeneration. Fire has shaped many forests for millennia. Many people view forest fires as purely destructive, but for many ecosystems, fire is essential. Lightning has ignited fires for millions of years, and many forests evolved with fire as a regular occurrence. Some pine species have serotinous cones that open only in fire's heat, releasing seeds into the ash-enriched soil. Other plants sprout vigorously after fire, taking advantage of reduced competition and increased nutrients. Animals adapted to burned areas quickly recolonize. Fire clears accumulated dead wood, recycles nutrients, and maintains forest structure. In fire-adapted forests, excluding fire causes problems. Dead wood accumulates, creating fuel for unnaturally intense fires. Shade-tolerant species invade, changing forest composition. Without periodic burning, these forests become unhealthy, overly dense, and vulnerable to catastrophic blazes. Indigenous peoples understood this, using fire as a management tool for thousands of years. Modern fire ecology recognizes that controlled burning, mimicking natural fire regimes, is essential for many forests' health. Fire is not the enemy of forests, but, in many cases, their ancient partner. Some trees survive fire by protecting their living tissues. In fire-prone forests, many trees have evolved remarkable defenses. Thick bark, particularly cork-like bark that insulates well, protects the sensitive cambium layer beneath from heat. Some species have thick terminal buds that can survive scorching. Others store energy in deep roots, allowing them to resprout even if the above-ground portion dies. Longleaf pines go through a grass stage as seedlings, looking like clumps of grass, while their taproots grow deep, only producing height once they have built sufficient reserves to survive fire. Walking through a recently burned forest can be sobering. The blackened trunks and ashen ground seeming lifeless. But return a few months later, and you will see green shoots emerging from charred stumps, grasses and wildflowers blanketing the ground, and tree seedlings beginning their race toward the canopy. The forest is not dead but renewing itself, using fire's clearing and fertilization to begin again. These fire-adapted trees and their strategies remind us that disturbance is not always destruction, but sometimes opportunity, a chance for life to continue in new forms. Windstorms create gaps that increase forest diversity. When strong winds blow down canopy trees, they create gaps, openings where sunlight suddenly reaches the forest floor. These gaps become hotspots of growth and diversity. Suppressed saplings, waiting decades in shade, suddenly shoot upward, competing for the gap. Light-demanding species germinate from the seed bank. Early successional plants, like raspberries and fireweed, appear. The gap provides habitat for different species than the surrounding closed canopy forest, increasing overall diversity through its patchwork of ages and conditions. Forest scientists recognize that these natural disturbances, rather than disrupting forests, actually maintain them in healthy, diverse states. A landscape mosaic of gaps in various stages of closure, interspersed with mature stands, supports more species than uniform forest. The natural rhythm of death and regeneration, destruction and renewal is essential to forest ecosystems. Modern forestry has begun incorporating this knowledge, creating small clear-cuts or thinning to mimic natural gap dynamics. Understanding windthrow's role helps us see that forests are not static, but dynamic, constantly changing at small scales to remain stable at large ones. Succession gradually changes forests over time. If you leave an abandoned farm field alone, it doesn't remain bare forever. Grasses and annual weeds colonize first. Within years, shrubs and pioneer trees like birch, aspen, or pine appear. These early, successional species grow quickly. In full sun, their seeds blown in from nearby forests. As they mature, they cast shade, creating conditions suitable for shade-tolerant species like maple, beech, or hemlock. Over decades or centuries, these later species gradually replace the pioneers, forming a mature forest. This process, called ecological succession, occurs wherever disturbance creates open space. It can take centuries to reach what ecologists call climax forest, a relatively stable assemblage of species adapted to local conditions. But even climax forests are not static. Natural disturbances reset succession at small scales, maintaining a mosaic of stages. Succession is nature's healing process, the way ecosystems recover from disturbance and rebuild complexity. Walking from field through young woods to old growth, you walk forward through successional time, seeing the forest's future in each stage. Old-growth forests have structural features young forests lack. A truly old forest, one that has developed without human interference for centuries, differs profoundly from younger woods. It contains massive trees, some approaching their maximum size for the species. Standing dead trees, snags, provide cavity nest sites and hunting perches. Fallen logs in all stages of decay litter the ground, some recently fallen, others moss-covered and crumbling. The canopy is uneven, with gaps where old trees have died, creating a mosaic of ages and light conditions. Large, spreading crowns on canopy trees indicate they have grown without close competition for decades. These structural features provide habitat that young, uniform forests cannot match. Cavity nesting birds depend on large snags. Salamanders shelter under rotting logs. Lichens, requiring stable bark surfaces, need old trees. The complexity of old growth, its layers and diversity of conditions supports species assemblages found nowhere else. Once destroyed, these forests take centuries to redevelop, if they ever do. Old-growth forests are thus irreplaceable in human timescales, living monuments to time itself. To walk through one is to walk through a place where time works on scales we can barely comprehend. The healing power. Spending time in forests reduces stress and improves mental health. Science is confirming what many people intuitively know. Time in forests makes us feel better. Studies show that walking in forests lowers cortisol levels, reduces blood pressure, and decreases stress. The Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, involves spending time in forests mindfully, using all senses to connect with nature. Participants report improved mood, reduced anxiety, and enhanced well-being. The effects are not imaginary, but measurable, showing up in hormone levels, heart rate variability, and immune function. Several mechanisms may explain these benefits. Forests offer escape from urban noise and crowds. Their visual complexity engages attention without demanding concentration, allowing mental rest. The scents of trees and soil contain aromatic compounds that may directly affect our nervous systems. Simply being in a place governed by natural rhythms rather than human demands may allow our bodies to relax in ways modern life rarely permits. Forests are healing spaces, offering benefits that screens and buildings cannot provide. Time among trees is not a luxury, but a biological need. The color green has calming effects on human psychology. Forests immerse us in green, the color of chlorophyll and life. Psychological studies show that green is calming, reducing stress and promoting relaxation more effectively than other colors. Some hospitals have incorporated forest views or green spaces, specifically because patients recover faster when they can see nature. The human affinity for green may have deep evolutionary roots. Our ancestors spent millions of years in green landscapes, and those who felt comfortable and alert in such places survived better. The particular quality of forest light filtered through leaves and tinged with green, creates a soothing environment. It lacks the harsh glare of open areas and the artificial spectrum of indoor lighting. Our eyes relax in this gentle, diffused illumination. Combined with the fractal patterns of branches and leaves, which our brains process efficiently, forests provide an aesthetic environment perfectly suited to human perception. We don't just think forests are beautiful. We are built to respond to them as places of safety and sustenance. This ancient programming still influences us, making time in forests feel like coming home. Forest air contains beneficial compounds from trees. When you breathe deeply in a forest, you're inhaling more than just oxygen. Trees release aromatic compounds called phytoncides, part of their defense against insects and disease. In humans, these compounds have measurable effects, boosting immune function and reducing stress hormones. Coniferous forests are particularly rich in these compounds, which give forests their characteristic scent. That fresh, resinous smell is actually a complex mixture of molecules that our bodies respond to positively. Forest air also contains fewer pollutants than urban air. Trees filter dust, absorb pollutants, and their leaves trap particulates. Forests produce negative ions, which some research suggests improve mood and energy. While walking in a forest, you're literally breathing cleaner, richer air, filled with compounds that benefit your body and mind. The simple act of breathing deeply among trees delivers measurable health benefits, from immune enhancement to stress reduction. It's no wonder that time in forests leaves us feeling refreshed and renewed. We're not imagining the benefits. They're entering our bodies with every breath. Natural sounds in forests promote relaxation. The soundscape of a forest, with bird songs, rustling leaves, and flowing water, affects us differently than urban noise. Natural sounds tend to be irregular and complex, lacking the jarring, repetitive qualities of machinery and traffic. Research shows that listening to natural sounds lowers stress and improves mood more than silence or artificial sounds. The brain seems to categorize natural sounds as safe, allowing relaxation, while urban sounds trigger vigilance and stress responses. Some researchers suggest that our brains evolved to constantly monitor our acoustic environment for threats. In forests, the presence of bird song signals safety. Birds sing when predators are absent. The sounds of wind and water are rhythmic and calming, lacking the sharp edges of human-made noise. Even without conscious awareness, our bodies respond to these differences, relaxing in soundscapes that signal a safe, natural environment. Forest sounds are thus not just pleasant, but actively therapeutic, helping our nervous systems shift from stress to rest. Listening to a forest is a form of medicine. Walking in forests can improve focus and creativity. After spending time in nature, people consistently perform better on tests measuring attention and creative problem solving. The theory, called attention restoration theory, suggests that modern life constantly demands directed attention, depleting our mental resources. Natural environments allow different type of attention, effortless and restorative, giving our goal-directed systems time to recover. This is why a walk in the woods can help solve problems that seemed intractable. The break allows mental processes to work without force. Many great thinkers have credited nature walks with inspiring insights. The combination of gentle physical activity, sensory engagement without overwhelm, and freedom from devices allows the mind to wander productively. Forest environments, with their complexity and beauty, seem particularly effective. The Japanese concept of forest bathing emphasizes this non-goal-oriented presence, encouraging people to simply be in the forest rather than hiking purposefully. Whether actively walking or sitting quietly, time in forests recharges mental batteries and opens creative channels in ways urban environments cannot match. Forests provide spaces for solitude and reflection. In crowded, noisy modern life, finding true solitude is increasingly difficult. Forests offer it naturally. Walk far enough into the woods and human sounds fade, replaced by natural quiet. In this solitude, many people find space for reflection impossible in daily life. Without constant demands and stimulation, thoughts can surface and be examined. Important realizations often come in these quiet moments, insights that were always there, but buried under noise and busyness. Different wisdom traditions have long recognized this, with many spiritual practices involving retreat to wild places. The forest provides not just physical solitude, but psychological space, permission to step off the treadmill and simply exist. In a forest, you're not expected to produce or perform. You can sit, walk, or stand without purpose or schedule. This freedom is rare and valuable, allowing genuine rest and the deep thinking that comes only when we stop rushing. Forests are sanctuaries not just for wildlife, but for human souls, offering the solitude necessary for true self-knowledge. The ancient partnerships. Some plants grow only on other plants without harming them. In forests, particularly tropical ones, many plants never touch the ground. These epiphytes grow on tree branches and trunks, using their hosts for support but not parasitizing them. Orchids, bromeliads, ferns, and mosses commonly grow as epiphytes, their roots clinging to bark and absorbing moisture and nutrients from rain, dust, and decaying plant matter. Some develop elaborate adaptations. Tank bromeliads collect pools of water in their leaf bases, creating mini aquatic ecosystems that support mosquito larvae, tadpoles, and other creatures. Epiphytes increase forest diversity by adding another dimension to habitat. They provide food and shelter for insects, nesting material for birds, and water sources for canopy animals. Their presence indicates healthy, mature forests with stable conditions. In temperate forests, epiphytes are mainly mosses and lichens, but in tropical forests, their diversity explodes, with some trees hosting hundreds of epiphyte species. This vertical garden demonstrates that forests support life not just at ground level, but throughout their three-dimensional structure. Every surface becomes potential habitat, maximizing the life a forest can contain. Mycorrhizal relationships may be 400 million years old. The partnership between plants and fungi is ancient beyond imagination. Fossil evidence suggests that mycorrhizal associations existed when plants first colonized land, over 400 million years ago. This means that as plants moved from water to land, they did so with fungal partners, relying on these relationships to extract nutrients from primitive soils. This partnership may have been essential to the greening of Earth, enabling plants to survive in harsh terrestrial conditions where nutrients were locked in rock. Today, an estimated 90% of plant species maintain mycorrhizal relationships. The partnership has been refined over hundreds of millions of years, becoming more efficient and complex. Different types of mycorrhizae have evolved, each with specific plant partners. The relationship is so fundamental that many plants cannot survive without their fungal partners, particularly in nutrient-poor soils. This ancient alliance, older than flowering plants, older than forests themselves, continues to shape terrestrial ecosystems. Every forest is built on foundations laid down in the distant past, when life first ventured onto land. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria live in nodules on some tree roots. Nitrogen is essential for life, a key component of proteins and DNA. But atmospheric nitrogen, though abundant, is in a form most organisms cannot use. Certain bacteria have evolved the ability to convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, a form plants can absorb. Some trees, particularly members of the legume family and others like alders, form partnerships with these bacteria. The trees provide sugars and sheltered root nodules where bacteria live. In return, the bacteria provide nitrogen, fertilizing the tree directly. These nitrogen-fixing trees play crucial roles in forests. They can colonize poor soils where other trees struggle, enriching the soil as they grow. Their leaf litter contains high nitrogen content, fertilizing surrounding plants when it decomposes. Alders commonly pioneer riverbanks and disturbed sites, preparing the way for other species. The relationship between tree and bacteria is another example of partnership driving forest success. Alone, neither could thrive in nitrogen-poor conditions. Together, they transform barren ground into fertile soil, demonstrating cooperation's power in nature. Pollination partnerships link trees and insects in mutual dependence. Many trees depend on insects for pollination, transferring pollen from flower to flower to enable reproduction. In return, trees provide nectar and pollen as food. These relationships can be general, with many pollinator species visiting many tree species, or highly specific, with particular insects pollinating only particular trees. Fig trees and fig wasps exemplify extreme specialization. Each fig species has its own wasp species, and neither can reproduce without the other. The wasp pollinates the fig while laying eggs inside. The fig provides food for wasp larvae. Such intimate relationships have evolved over millions of years, each partner shaping the other. Flowers evolve colors, scents, and shapes that attract their pollinators. Insects evolve mouthparts and behaviors that let them access nectar. These partnerships are beautiful examples of co-evolution, where two species evolve together, each responding to changes in the other. When we see a bee visiting a flower, we're witnessing a relationship with deep history, refined through countless generations. Forests depend on these partnerships. Without pollinators, many trees could not reproduce, and without flowering trees, many insects could not survive. Seed dispersers spread tree offspring across the landscape. Trees face a challenge. They can't move, yet their seedlings need to establish away from the parent to avoid competing for light and resources. Animals solve this problem. Birds eat fruits and defecate seeds far from the parent tree. Squirrels cache nuts and forget some, inadvertently planting them. Bears, deer, and other mammals consume fruits and seeds, spreading them in their droppings. Some seeds have evolved to catch on fur, traveling attached to passing animals. These dispersal relationships benefit both partners. Animals gain nutrition from fruits and seeds. Trees gain dispersal, their offspring spreading across the landscape to find suitable germination sites. Some trees produce fruits specifically timed to ripen during migration seasons, when birds will carry seeds hundreds of kilometers. Others produce heavy, nutritious nuts that squirrels gather obsessively, planting future forests in their caches. The forest's spatial pattern, the distribution of trees across the landscape, reflects these dispersal partnerships. Every forest is, in part, planted by animals, a collaborative effort spanning generations. The hidden connections tree roots extend far beyond their canopy spread. Above ground, a tree's canopy defines its visible space, but below, roots spread much farther. Most tree roots concentrate in the top meter of soil, extending horizontally far beyond the drip line of branches. Root systems of neighboring trees intertwine, creating a dense underground network. In some cases, roots may spread 2 or 3 times the width of the canopy, searching for water and nutrients. This extensive root system anchors the tree, preventing windthrow, and connects it to resources across a wide area. Root systems also connect trees to each other, both physically and through mycorrhizal networks. When roots of different trees touch, they may graft together, sharing water and nutrients. Combined with fungal connections, this creates a forest where trees are not isolated individuals, but members of an underground community. Resources flow through this network, supporting trees in need and binding the forest together. What we see above ground is only half the story. Below, invisible but essential, lies a world of roots and fungi creating the forest's true foundation. Water moves from soil through trees to atmosphere in a continuous stream. A tree is essentially a pump, moving water from soil to air. Roots absorb water, which travels up through xylem vessels in the trunk, out through branches, and finally evaporates from leaf surfaces in a process called transpiration. This upward flow is driven by evaporation pulling water up from below, like sucking through a straw. The amount of water moved is staggering. A large tree can transpire hundreds of liters per day, releasing water vapor into the atmosphere. This water movement serves multiple purposes. It delivers dissolved nutrients from soil to leaves. It cools the tree through evaporation. It maintains turgor pressure, keeping the tree upright. And it contributes to local water cycles, with transpired water forming clouds that may fall again as rain. Forests are not just collections of trees, but active participants in hydrological cycles, moving water from earth to sky. When forests are removed, these water flows cease, often reducing regional rainfall and altering stream flows. The forest's role in water cycling is yet another service these ecosystems provide. Trees communicate chemical signals through the air. When herbivores attack a tree's leaves, the tree responds by producing defensive chemicals that make the leaves less palatable or even toxic. But the response doesn't stop there. The damaged tree also releases volatile organic compounds into the air, chemical signals that nearby trees detect. These neighboring trees, though not yet attacked, begin producing their own defensive chemicals, preparing for the threat. This phenomenon, documented in various species, suggests trees can warn each other of danger. The mechanisms are still being studied, but the implications are profound. Trees are not passive victims, but active defenders, capable of responding to threats and even alerting their neighbors. Whether this constitutes true communication or simply beneficial eavesdropping is debated, but the effect is clear. Forests respond collectively to threats. Individual trees benefit from being part of a community that shares information. These chemical conversations happen constantly, invisible to us but shaping forest dynamics in important ways. The forest, it seems, is always talking, in languages we're only beginning to understand. Symbiotic relationships create resilience in forest ecosystems. Throughout forests, partnerships abound. Trees and fungi, plants and pollinators, trees and seed dispersers. These relationships are not optional extras, but core to how forests function. Symbiosis, the living together of different species in close association, creates networks of interdependence that strengthen the entire system. When disturbance strikes, these relationships provide resilience. If one species declines, its partners may help it recover, or other species may step in to fill its role. This web of relationships makes forests more stable than collections of independent organisms could ever be. Resources flow through networks, buffering individual failures. Information spreads through chemical and fungal channels, allowing coordinated responses. The whole becomes greater than the sum of parts, an emergent property arising from countless interactions. Understanding forests means understanding these relationships, recognizing that every organism exists in context, supported by and supporting others. The forest is not a collection of individuals, but a community, and its health depends on maintaining the connections that bind it together. The wisdom of trees. Ancient trees have witnessed centuries of human history. Some trees alive today sprouted before written history began. They have stood through the rise and fall of civilizations, through wars and peace, through technological revolutions from bronze to digital. A tree planted when the Roman Empire thrived still grows in some places, its rings recording climate changes across 2 millennia. These ancient witnesses have seen landscapes transform around them, forests cleared and regrown, cities built and abandoned. They persist, silent and patient, as human generations pass like seasons. To stand beside such a tree is to feel the weight of time. Your entire life, and those of your grandparents and their grandparents, fit within a fraction of this tree's existence. It offers perspective on human concerns, reminding us that we are brief visitors in a much longer story. These ancient trees are treasures beyond price, living links to the deep past, monuments to endurance and patience. They teach us that slow, steady growth can achieve what hurrying never will, and that survival sometimes means simply outlasting challenges year after year, ring after ring. Trees grow toward light, demonstrating adaptation and persistence. Watch a tree and you'll see. It's not passive, but constantly adjusting. Branches grow toward light sources, a behavior called phototropism. If one side receives more light, growth concentrates there, creating an asymmetric crown. Seedlings in dense shade grow slowly, waiting for an opening. When a gap appears, they surge upward, racing to capture the light. This responsiveness demonstrates that trees, though stationary, are dynamic, constantly sensing and responding to their environment. This growth toward light is a metaphor many people find meaningful. Like trees, we can orient ourselves toward what nurtures us, adjusting our path when circumstances change. Trees demonstrate that you don't need to move to grow, that patience and persistence can overcome obstacles, and that responding intelligently to conditions is more important than speed. Every curved trunk and reaching branch tells a story of challenge met with adaptation. Trees don't complain about shade or competition. They simply keep growing, finding ways to survive and thrive despite limitations. A single tree can support thousands of other organisms. A mature tree is not just one organism, but an ecosystem. Its bark hosts lichens, mosses, and insects. Its leaves feed caterpillars that become food for birds. Its flowers provide nectar and pollen. Its seeds feed squirrels, mice, and jays. Its cavities shelter owls, woodpeckers, and bats. Its roots partner with fungi and bacteria. Dead branches host fungi that feed beetles. The tree's presence moderates temperature and humidity, creating conditions that benefit surrounding organisms. One tree becomes home to thousands of species, each depending on it in some way. This reflects a larger truth. We all exist in webs of interdependence. No organism, including humans, survives alone. We depend on countless others, often invisibly. Trees make this visible. Their role as habitat so obvious we can't miss it. They remind us to consider our own role in larger systems. Are we supporting others? Are we creating habitat, whether literally or metaphorically, where life can flourish? Trees teach by example, showing that the greatest contribution may be simply to stand firm and offer shelter, food, and support to others who need it. forests teach patience through their slow growth. In a world of instant results and rapid change, forests operate on different timescales. A tree takes decades to mature, centuries to reach full size. Forests develop over generations, slowly building complexity. You can't rush a forest. You can plant trees, but time must pass before they create the structure and relationships that define mature woodlands. This slowness frustrates modern sensibilities, but teaches important lessons. Some things can't be hurried. Real growth, real development, takes time. This wisdom applies beyond forestry. Deep learning, meaningful relationships, mastery of skills, all require time and patience. Forests remind us that forcing speed often produces shallow results. The strongest trees, those that survive storms and stress, grew slowly in their youth, producing dense wood and deep roots. Quick growth creates weak wood, vulnerable to breaking. In life, as in forests, slow and steady often wins. Forests teach us to value patience, to trust that consistent effort over time produces results that shortcuts never can. The forest persists by accepting change and loss. Forests endure not by avoiding disturbance, but by incorporating it. Trees die, creating gaps. Fire sweeps through, clearing dead wood. Storms blow down giants. Insects kill weakened trees. These disturbances seem destructive, but they're part of forest health, creating opportunities for renewal and maintaining diversity. The forest doesn't resist change, but flows with it. Each generation building on the last, each disturbance creating opportunity. This resilience, through flexibility, is a powerful model. In our lives, loss and change are inevitable. Resisting them causes suffering. Forests suggest another way. Accept change as part of the cycle. Trust that growth follows loss. Know that endings create space for beginnings. The fallen tree becomes nurse log for the next generation. The burned forest regenerates more diverse than before. Nothing is wasted. Everything transforms. This perspective doesn't deny the reality of loss, but places it in context, as part of a larger pattern where death and life are partners, not enemies. The forest's persistence comes not from avoiding change, but from embracing it as the engine of renewal. The future forest climate change is altering forests worldwide. Forests have survived climate shifts before, but the current rate of warming is unprecedented in human history. Temperature changes are shifting species ranges, with cold-adapted trees declining in southern parts of their ranges and expanding northward. Droughts are becoming more frequent and severe in some regions, stressing trees and making them vulnerable to insects and disease. Pest ranges are expanding as winters warm, allowing survival in previously inhospitable areas. Some forests are transitioning, changing species composition as conditions favor different communities. These changes remind us that forests are not static, but dynamic, always responding to conditions. Some will adapt, shifting in composition but persisting. Others may disappear, replaced by grasslands or different forest types. The pace of change challenges forests' ability to adapt. Trees migrate slowly, reproducing over decades, potentially unable to keep pace with shifting climate zones. Human activities, fragmenting landscapes and creating barriers to migration, complicate adaptation. The forests we love may look different in coming decades, teaching hard lessons about the consequences of rapid environmental change. Protected areas preserve forests for future generations. Around the world, societies have designated protected forests, recognizing their value. National parks, wilderness areas, nature reserves, and indigenous territories safeguard forests from logging, clearing, and development. These protected areas serve multiple purposes: preserving biodiversity, protecting watersheds, maintaining carbon stores, and providing places where people can experience nature. They're investments in the future, ensuring that coming generations will know forests, not just read about them. But protection alone is not enough. Climate change reaches even protected areas, and no boundary stops air pollution or invasive species. Forests need not just protection, but active stewardship, thoughtful management that helps them adapt to changing conditions. Indigenous peoples have often been best stewards, managing forests sustainably for thousands of years. Their knowledge and practices offer lessons for modern conservation. The future of forests depends on combining traditional wisdom with scientific understanding, respecting nature's complexity while recognizing human responsibility as part of forest systems, not separate from them. Reforestation can help restore damaged landscapes. Where forests have been cleared, they can be replanted. Reforestation projects worldwide are putting trees back on degraded lands, aiming to restore ecological function and sequester carbon. But simply planting trees is not enough. Successful reforestation requires planting appropriate species for the site, protecting young trees from browsing and competition, and patience as the forest develops. Native species generally work better than non-natives, and mixed plantings of multiple species create more resilient, diverse forests than monocultures. The most successful reforestation often involves letting nature do much of the work. Protecting an area and allowing natural regeneration can be more effective than planting, as trees adapted to the site colonize naturally. Assisted natural regeneration, where people remove barriers to natural recovery but otherwise let the forest grow on its own, combines human help with nature's wisdom. These approaches recognize that we can't build a forest the way we build a building. We can plant seeds and saplings, but time and natural processes create the complex relationships and structures that make a forest. Restoration requires humility, acknowledging that nature knows how to build forests better than we do. Urban forests provide crucial ecosystem services in cities. Trees in cities, whether street trees, park forests, or backyard plantings, provide benefits far exceeding their space. They cool urban heat islands, shade buildings, and reduce energy use, filter air pollution, absorb stormwater runoff, and provide habitat for birds and other wildlife. Studies show that neighborhoods with more trees have lower crime rates, better mental health outcomes, and stronger communities. Urban forests are infrastructure, as important as roads or water systems, providing services that would cost billions to replace with technology. Expanding urban forests is increasingly recognized as crucial for making cities livable in a warming world. But urban conditions are harsh for trees: compacted soil, limited root space, pollution, heat, and drought. Urban foresters are developing strategies to help trees thrive, from better planting techniques to selecting stress-tolerant species. The goal is not to replicate natural forests, but to create adapted urban forest communities that provide maximum benefits. As more people live in cities, urban forests become their primary connection to nature. Ensuring that every neighborhood has trees is both environmental justice and practical necessity. Indigenous knowledge holds keys to sustainable forest management. Long before modern forestry, indigenous peoples managed forests sustainably. Traditional practices like selective harvesting, controlled burning, and protection of sacred groves maintained forest health while providing resources. This knowledge, accumulated over thousands of years, is encoded in stories, practices, and relationships with specific places. Today, science increasingly recognizes the value of traditional ecological knowledge, finding that indigenous managed forests often have higher biodiversity and better carbon storage than many protected areas. Respecting indigenous rights and incorporating traditional knowledge into forest management is not just ethical, but practical. Indigenous peoples manage an estimated 22% of Earth's land surface, but safeguard 80% of remaining biodiversity. Their success comes from worldviews that see humans as part of nature, not separate from it, and from intimate knowledge of specific places passed through generations. The future of forests may depend on blending this traditional wisdom with scientific understanding, recognizing that different knowledge systems offer complementary insights. Forests have sustained indigenous peoples for millennia. Now, indigenous peoples may be crucial to sustaining forests. Every person can help protect forests, near and far. Forests may seem distant from daily life, but our choices affect them. Buying sustainably sourced wood and paper products reduces demand for destructive logging. Supporting indigenous rights protects forest peoples and the forests they steward. Planting native trees and protecting existing ones, even in small yards, expands habitat and connects fragmented forests. Reducing consumption lowers the demand for products driving deforestation. Supporting conservation organizations provides resources for protection and restoration. Even simply visiting forests mindfully, with respect and wonder, builds the constituency that values them. The relationship between humans and forests need not be destructive. We can take what we need while ensuring forests persist. We can recognize that protecting forests serves our own interests, providing clean water, stable climate, and spiritual sustenance. The forest's future is not separate from humanity's future. They're intertwined. Every tree we plant or protect, every forest we visit or defend, is an investment in a livable planet. The forest has given us so much: oxygen, food, materials, beauty, peace. Perhaps now we owe the forest our protection, our restraint, and our gratitude. And so, dear listener, our journey through the forest comes to a close. From the ancient trees that have stood for millennia to the tiniest mycorrhizal threads weaving through soil. From the dawn chorus of birds to the silent work of decomposers. From spring wildflowers to autumn's golden fall. We have walked together through a world of green and growth, death and renewal, connection and community. The forest has shared its secrets, that patience has power, that cooperation strengthens survival, that change is part of endurance, that every ending becomes a beginning. It has shown us partnerships between species and the webs binding all life. It has offered sounds and sights that calm our nervous systems and reconnect us to rhythms deeper than our daily concerns. The forest is teacher, healer, and refuge, asking nothing but offering everything. As you rest here, letting these words fade into background, imagine yourself in a forest. Perhaps it's one you know, or one you've only dreamed of. Feel the soft earth beneath you, cushioned with years of fallen leaves. Smell the rich scent of soil and growing things. Hear the whisper of wind through branches, the distant call of a bird, the quiet rustling of small lives going about their business. See dappled light filtering through the canopy, dancing across bark and fern. The forest is patient. It will wait for your visit. It will welcome you when you come, asking nothing, offering everything. Its trees stand ready to shelter you, its paths ready to receive your footsteps, its peace ready to enter your heart. The forest knows no hurry. Time moves differently here, measured in seasons and growth rings, not hours and minutes. In this timeless place, you can rest, Let your breathing slow to match the forest's rhythm. Deep and easy, like the movement of sap through xylem, like roots drinking moisture from soil, like leaves breathing in sunlight and breathing out oxygen. You are part of this exchange, this ancient conversation between earth and air. Your breath connects you to every tree, every plant, every organism that has ever photosynthesized. You are family to the forest, more closely related than you might imagine. As you drift towards sleep, imagine yourself becoming part of the forest. Your body is supported by earth, rooted like a tree. Your mind expands to include the space around you, no longer confined but spreading outward like branches. You are safe here, held by something larger than yourself. The forest has stood through storms and seasons, through centuries and millennia. It will stand through this night, and you with it. Let the forest carry you now. Let its patience slow your thoughts. Let its darkness be not frightening but comforting, a gentle blanket that allows rest. Let its sounds become your lullaby, the oldest music humans have ever known. You are returning to something ancient, something that remembers when your ancestors slept under leaves and woke to bird song. You are home. The forest asks nothing more of you tonight but this: rest. Sleep deeply and well. Dream of green growing things if you dream at all. And know that somewhere, forests stand in darkness, quietly breathing, holding space, waiting for light. They teach us by example. Sometimes the work is simply to endure, to stand firm, to grow slowly and steadily toward the light. Close your eyes if they aren't already closed. Feel the weight of your body, solid and real as a tree trunk. Feel the rise and fall of breath, constant as wind through leaves. You are part of the cycle, part of the community, part of the ancient pattern of life flowing through forests and through you. In this moment, there is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. You are exactly where you should be. The forest watches over you as it has watched over countless others. Its presence is blessing and benediction, grace offered freely to all who enter with open hearts. Receive that gift now. Let it fill you with peace. Let it ease worry and calm restless thoughts. The forest knows you need rest, and it offers its own eternal restfulness as gift. Sleep now, dear one. Sleep beneath the sheltering trees of imagination and memory. Sleep in the forest's embrace, held by something older and wiser than worry or fear. Sleep deeply and peacefully, knowing you are part of something vast and beautiful. The forest has been here long before you, and it will remain long after. In its presence, your concerns are held gently and then released, like leaves falling to return to earth. Rest, dream, breathe, be. If you happen to still be awake, you can go ahead and listen to the next journey when you are ready. But if your eyes are heavy and sleep is calling, simply let go. The forest will be here tomorrow, and the next day, and for all your days. It waits patiently, as it has always waited. And in your heart, you carry a seed of the forest, a memory of green and growth that nothing can take from you. Good night. Sleep well, and may you wake refreshed, carrying the forest's peace with you into your day.